Michigan State bounces back after that 1 point loss to Purdue with a huge win over ranked Rutgers. We're going to break this one down here at Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co host, Steve Feck. 70-57 over the 23rd ranked team at Rutgers. Both teams now move to 13-6. When you're looking at them in the Big Ten standings, though, Michigan State now sits second, tied with Rutgers for second in the Big Ten, just behind Purdue. I mean, this was a very important game. Very important game. You can make the conversation. Maybe Michigan State finds a way back into the rankings after this one with a close loss to Purdue and with a win over ranked Rutgers. I think there's a conversation that could be had. However, we had that conversation last week when we were talking Purdue and Michigan State. A lot of comments on that video saying Michigan State can't win big games. Well, this was a big game. This was a big game in Big Ten. This was a ranked matchup. Yes, they lost close to Gonzaga. They lost close to Purdue in this one, but I would not say this team is one of those teams that is going to lose big games all the time down the stretch. This Michigan State squad is here to stay. I think this is a team, and I've been high on them all year. I'll say that straight up.
Yes,
But I
yes,
think
you
this is
have
a
been.
team
Yes.
that is going to be in it until the very end. They're going to be one of those bubble teams, I think, that find a way in the tournament. And when they do, watch out, Steve. Watch out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking that they're going to get snubbed because they're just not good. They're going to be good, but just not good enough to get off of that bubble and into the tournament. But I think some of the negative comments that might have come about they can't win the big games. Okay, they blew what was it, an 8 or 9 point lead to Illinois. They were up on
Yeah.
Illinois, let that one slip away. The Purdue game, it was just a great basketball game. And when you lose a game like that, okay, yes, in the loss column, it's a loss, no matter how you want to look at it, whether you got blown out by 50 or you lose by one, you lost. But I think they showed that they belong in the conversation as far as being, one of the elite teams in the Big Ten. They're now tied with Rutgers. Or I think what percentage points they're what percentage point ahead of Rutgers on this one? Oh no, they're both
Yep.
five and
Yep.
three.
Yep.
So yeah,
Mhm.
so they're both 5 and 3. So okay, I, I keep using the word earning. And we've talked about that with a lot of different teams as we're doing clips. Xavier is probably the one I keep using earning a lot, and we're talking about the Big East. But Michigan State has earned all of the accolades that are bestowed upon them, not just by the Big Ten Network, but by national basketball, analysts and correspondents. They really like what Michigan State does. And any team that's got Tom Izzo on the bench, they're going to be in games because Izzo is going to make adjustments on the fly in game, not after a loss. He's going to make adjustments throughout the game and try to get the right players in at the right time. So while I'm disappointed as a Jersey guy to see Rutgers, lose, on the road, I think that's really the story of Rutgers. They're going to struggle on the road some, but you get them at I guess it's called the Jersey Mike, whatever Express Arena, whatever they're calling it now. I'll call it the Rack to the day I die. But I think Rutgers at home, totally different team than when they're on the road, and I don't know why that is. It just seems and that's kind of been the case for them the last couple of years. In the Big Ten Conference, I'm disappointed that Rutgers really had this game slip away from them. It was a really good game. There were like 7 lead changes, I think, in the first half, but the second half it was all Michigan State. And I tip my hat to Michigan State. They showed in front of their home fans, hey, we're for real. Don't lose hope. Don't forget about those 2 tough losses. Okay, they're still in the standings, but don't give up hope. We're still in the mix.
Yeah, Rutgers is 11-2 at home, and they're 2-3 on the road this year. They're struggling so far when they head on the road. They shot dreadful from the 3 point line. They only shot 12%, 2 for 17. I think that was a huge issue, obviously. And then from the field, 34%. Obviously, adding in those dreadful threes doesn't help for that. Michigan State was the complete opposite. They shot over 50%, almost 55% from the 3 points. They had great 3 point play from Hauser, Akins, Hoggard, Walker. I mean, you name it. I mean, everybody but Sisseko. Um, Sissoko. Let me say that right before we get that one. Those comments from Michigan State faithful here. Um, played fantastic from the 3-point line. They really did. Hoggard had another 16-point outing. Hauser 13 points, Walker 12 points. It's nice diversity of scoring from the Michigan State team. Steve, when we look at this team moving forward, they got to play Indiana next on Sunday, noon CBS. It's the Indiana team that struggled, but at the beginning of the season, many thought were going to be very good. Well, we have seen them hit the Big Ten play, and that hasn't been the case so far in the Big Ten. They are 3-4. They are on a 2-game winning streak in the Big Ten, right? They are. However, we are seeing them at home, 9-1 at home against a Michigan State team who has had their peaks and valleys. Is this another game where Indiana can right the ship, get themselves back into ways, or is Michigan State going to keep rolling?
Michigan State's going to keep rolling. Indiana, if we're talking about a game like this next season, when all of this young talent really does get its legs underneath it, and they have the experience, and they've played. Players of this talent play pressure games all of the time, whether they be AAU tournaments or travel teams or whatever it is. But Division I college basketball and a power conference, that's a whole different level of pressure. I think that these kids are still learning how to play up to expectations. I think a national TV game is going to naturally play to your, I don't want to say weaknesses, but you want to try harder. You really want to put up a big game on national TV. And I think against a team like Michigan State, they're going to be able to put the pressure on, exploit them, force turnovers, score points in transition. And I think Indiana's going to be licking their wounds at the end of the game. It wouldn't surprise me to hear some chants. They might be faint, from the stands, perhaps suggesting a different head coach going into next season. Again, I don't see them finishing even at 500 in the Big Ten. You can't keep doing that. Even with that great recruiting class, that's great. But by accident, you would think that Indiana would do better in conference play because of the really true high-level, high-caliber talent that they have on that roster. It's very, very young, but still. But if they're struggling at home against a team like Michigan State with that kind of talent on their roster, where theoretically they should be near the top, I think you're going to start hearing those chants from the stands calling for a new head coach at Indiana.
Interesting. Yeah, after that tough loss to Penn State just a week ago, they do have 2 pretty impressive wins over ranked Wisconsin, and then tonight over Illinois, they won 80-65. I think it's going to be a little closer than you think. I know that you have been a lot lower on Indiana than I have this year, but I do think Michigan State is going to come on top as well. I know that Indiana has a great home record. They're 9-1 so far this year, but Michigan State, they play good in prime time. I think they're a great team. I think they play good defense. And as long as it doesn't come down to the final shot, I think Michigan State's got a chance, because so far the final shot hasn't been pretty good for them.
True.
Plays have been drawn up and they just missed the shot too short or just to play it. So as long as it doesn't come down to the very final shot and Michigan State's taking that shot, I'll take the Spartans in this one. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. What do you think about this Michigan State team with the win over Rutgers? Do you think Tom Izzo and the gang has a chance to make it to the NCAA tournament? Right now, they sit tied for second in the Big Ten, so their bid is in. Do you believe this team should be ranked? And what do you think about them heading to Indiana for the game on Sunday? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment description below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thanks for watching SlasherU.